Hi you guys, if you want to learn how to make my easy and delicious baked ziti, stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is put some ground beef in a pan. This is roughly a pound, and I'm just breaking that up just like so it can cook more evenly. To that ground beef, I'm going to be adding some Italian sausage, and this is the kind that I'm using, super delicious, and this is also a pound. I'm also going to break that sausage up just so everything can cook nice and evenly. So while our ground beef and sausage continue to cook, we're going to go ahead and cook our ziti noodles. I already have a pot of boiling salted water on the stove. We're going to add in about 2/3 of that box to the pot and give it a good stir and let it do its thing. I would only cook these noodles for a good 7 to 8 minutes maybe. You want to cook it a little bit below the recommended time on the back of your box because this will be going into the oven later on. All right, so now our sausage and ground beef are done cooking. I'm going to go ahead and add in a whole jar of my favorite tomato sauce, which is the classical, but you can use whatever tomato sauce that you like. And I'm going to add in a little bit of water in my jar and pour that in. Now at this point I was like, girl, you need a bigger pan. Like, what are you doing? You're going to spill sauce everywhere and it's going to be a bigger cleanup. So I just stopped playing myself at this moment and put my mixture into a larger pot, and I also added in another jar of tomato sauce. So you're going to add in 2 jars of tomato sauce along with a little bit of water to get all that sauce out of the jar. Give it a good stir, and now we're going to go ahead and season this up with some salt, some pepper, some onion powder, some garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and also some sugar. I love adding sugar to my tomato sauces because it just kind of cuts the acidity of the tomatoes, and it just tastes super good. If you haven't tried it, I definitely would recommend it. It just makes a world of a difference, you guys. It tastes so good. So now we're going to go ahead and stir everything up together just like so, making sure that everything is nice and combined. Add a top on our pot and let that simmer for a good 20 minutes. You can simmer it for a little bit longer if you would like, if you have the time, but I recommend at least 20 minutes. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to our ricotta mixture, which I love in my lasagna and I also love in my baked ziti. So I add in about a cup and a half of that ricotta, and we're going to season it up because ricotta is super bland. So we're going to season it with some salt and some pepper, a little tiny bit of minced garlic, some of that Italian seasoning that we used earlier, along with some parmesan cheese, and give it a good stir until everything is nicely combined. Once that's done, it's time to check on our sauce, and it is looking bubbly and delicious already, you guys. And at this point, you want to give it a good stir, and you also want to taste it to make sure that it doesn't need any additional seasoning, which mine did not. It tasted perfect. It was super delicious. You definitely want to make sure you do this step before you start layering your pasta and putting it into the oven, because at that point it's going to be too late to season it. So you want to make sure that it's seasoned perfectly at this point. All right, so we're adding in the ziti noodles and giving this a good stir just like so. I mean, this looks good enough to eat just like this. It already looks super yummy, but we're going to make it even better when we start layering it with our cheeses and all that jazz. So now we're going to move on to our oven safe casserole dish, and we're going to put in the first layer, smooth that out on the bottom, and now we're going to take our ricotta mixture that we made earlier and put several dollops on the top. Spread that across the top of this layer. We're also adding in some mozzarella cheese along with some parmesan cheese, and we're going to do these steps for all 3 layers. All right, we are done with our last layer, and a little trick that I like to do is put my casserole dishes on top of a lined baking sheet just in case anything bubbles over, so you won't have a big mess to clean up afterwards. All right, so look at our ziti, you guys. This looks absolutely delicious. I failed to mention that we baked this in a 375-degree oven for approximately 35 minutes. In the last 2 to 3 minutes or so, we put it on broil so it can get that nice golden crusty brown crust on the top that we love. And y'all, look, moment of silence. I wish you guys can smell how good this dish smells, and I also wish you can like kind of stick your fork in your screen right now and just take a bite because it is so darn good. This dish is a hit for my family, and I definitely believe it could be a hit for yours. I thank you guys so much for clicking and watching my videos. It means so much to me, you guys. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with a friend that's looking for a super easy and delicious weeknight meal. So I have a bonus clip for you guys. So these are our leftovers. We ate a great portion of it, but we do have a little bit left over. So I want to freeze that for another day. That's the great thing about ziti. It's not only delicious, but it's a great freezer friendly meal. So I'm just going to portion these out and put it in a Ziploc bag, and making sure that I take out all the air out of that bag and just put it in the freezer for another day. So you have this delicious meal on one day, and this can last up to 3 months in the freezer, you guys. So that is awesome. So a few weeks from now or a month or two from now, if I don't really feel like cooking and I want a delicious meal for my family, I can just take this ziti out of the freezer, take it out of the Ziploc bag, put it in an oven safe dish, cover it with some foil, and bake it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. And my family has a delicious homemade meal on the table. So I hope this bonus clip was helpful. I thank you guys once again for clicking and watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Until then, bye.